Star Wars books are always full of fun Easter eggs and references to other Star Wars stories. The Living Force by John Jackson Miller is no different, so here's everything I found in the book. The story takes place 1 year before The Phantom Menace, so of course we see several familiar faces, including ObiWan Kenobi, Qui-Gon Jinn, every member of the Jedi Council, Chancellor Valorum, and their good friend and ally, Senator Sheev Palpatine. The story takes place around a hyperspace lane called the Utmian Pabble that travels between Coruscant and a part of the galaxy called the Slice. Both of those concepts were first created for Star Wars Legends role-playing sourcebooks and comics. Obi-Wan Kenobi has a significant role in the book. He gets to deliver his signature line, "Hello there," almost 3 times, but he's interrupted during one attempt. Eth Koth takes an inventory of a Jedi outpost that was closed down. He makes note of a scholarly work discussing Poetics of a Jedi, which is one of the ancient Jedi texts seen on Ahch-To in The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. A droid mechanic named Hezo helps Plo Koon and Sae-Tiin work on a Jedi starship. Hezo was a Solonian that first appeared in Inquisitor Rise of the Red Blade by Delilah Dawson. By then, he had become an agent of Darth Sidious, working to undermine the Jedi and groom potential future members of the Inquisitorius. The Jedi Council travels to the planet Quinn, where they had an outpost in the days of the High Republic. That world first appeared in Star Wars Legends, but only from a space station in orbit above the planet. Quinn was the site of one of the great works of the High Republic era called the Grand Renewal, where the Jedi Order stepped in to revitalize the failing planet. The great works were the collected efforts of Chancellor Lina Soh to bring prosperity to the Outer Rim. The construction of Starlight Beacon was one of those works, as well as the Republic Fair. Quinn's Jedi outpost contained a library which held journals and written works of High Republic Jedi like Avar Kriss. The villain of the book, a pirate named Zalastra, works on Keldoween for much of the story. That planet is located very close to Quinn on the galactic map. Her gang is called the Riftwalkers, named after a variant of Sabacc that was first created for the Legends book Crucible. Zalastra is an avid fan of the game. Someone mistakes Riftwalker as a form of Pazaak, which was a different card game first created for Knights of the Old Republic. Zalastra's ship is called the Randomizer, named after a Sabacc game mechanic where the cards in play are randomly changed in value. The Randomizer is a Pelta-class frigate, which was seen often throughout the Clone Wars animated series. Zalastra steals some cargo bound for the planet Gorse, which John Jackson Miller created for his first canon book, A New Dawn. Yaddle visits the Great Western Sea on Coruscant. It was the only body of water left visible on Coruscant, first appearing in Star Wars Legends. This is its first canon appearance or mention. Yaddle thinks back to the days of the High Republic, reminiscing on what it was like to travel the galaxy more frequently, which we can read about in books like Cataclysm. Adi Gallia jokes with Senator Palpatine about the color Chancellor Valorum has chosen for his offices. Palpatine agrees and says he wonders what it would look like in red, and of course, he one day gets to find out. Zalastra has a murder droid called IK-111. It's possible he could be the same IK model as IK-4C from the Old Republic MMO. Sifo Dyas is mentioned several times in the past tense throughout the book, suggesting he has already gone missing at this point 1 year before the events of The Phantom Menace. Yoda claims he left the council, but other stories have said he was forcibly removed. I have a feeling Yoda was trying to save face a bit in his explanation. Depa Billaba thinks about Maz Kanata, respecting her despite her status as a pirate queen. Even Peel makes use of a Limulus-class courier. That ship first appeared in the Cestus Deception by Stephen Barnes, who will be returning to Star Wars for the first time in 20 years to write The Glass Abyss. Mace Windu spends a lot of time on a Republic Defense Coalition ship called the Assurance, under the command of Pel Balo. That character first appeared in the short story Orientation, which tied into Paul S. Kemp's book Lords of the Sith. There, Balo was an elderly Imperial officer who attempted to assassinate Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader. It's cool to see him in his younger years. Balo's ship is a CR-56 Corvette, which is a new model, but I assume it's a predecessor to the CR-90 like the Tantive 4. Also serving on the ship is a young man named Veers, about whom Balo says, if there's a proper navy someday, young Veers here will be in charge of it, mark my words. Of course that would be a reference to General Veers, and it's always nice to see him appear just because I know how happy it'll make Veers watch on Twitter. Quinn is home to a colony of Bivol who settled there as refugees after a solar storm on their homeworld Proto-Branch. That solar storm was depicted in the audio drama Dooku Jedi Lost by Cavan Scott. Zalastra's pirates encounter a rival group's ship, a modified Sinar IPV-1. That vessel was first created as an Imperial ship in the TIE Fighter video game. There are 5 major pirate groups in the Slice, and Zalastra points out the significance of the number 5 in the criminal underworld. There are 5 major criminal syndicates in the galaxy, but the Hutt clan and the Crymora syndicate are also made up of 5 families and smaller syndicates. The citizens of Quinn fear that a major employer of their world, Rendili Hyperworks, could leave the planet soon. That company was first created by John Jackson Miller in his Knights of the Old Republic comics. Sae-Tiin and Plo Koon find an old ARC-8 starfighter from the High Republic era on Quinn. I assume that would be a predecessor to the ARC-170, but other than that, it's a brand new ship and hasn't appeared in any High Republic stories yet, so I wonder if this could be a tease of a starfighter that might pop up in the Acolyte. The ARC line of ships is described as always having been designed to have too many wings, 12 at its most extreme. The ARC-8 appropriately has 8 wings when completely locked into attack mode. Yaddle thinks back to how their celebration on Quinn was similar to their activities during the High Republic. She cites a festival on Kublop Springs on the planet Tanu as an example. That location and planet are central to the Young Jedi Adventures animated series. Yaddle also quotes a happier version of Yoda's famous line, "Fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering." Instead, she proposes, "Courage leads to peace, peace leads to love, love leads to healing." Apo-Rancisis helps a beached aquatic creature called an Oroko. While we've never seen this animal before, John Jackson Miller did include a transport ship of the same name in his Legends Knights of the Old Republic comics. A character named Anissa flirts with Koth a bit. He notes that she is named after a flower, which so far has only been described in a role-playing sourcebook. Mace Windu flies a Delta 7 Interceptor for personal transport. That model continues to serve as a primary Jedi starfighter into the Clone Wars. A character is stabbed with a knife coated in Zalal venom, a poison first described in a role-playing sourcebook called Operation Elrude. The Woostoid species makes their first canon appearance in the Living Force. They were first created by Timothy Zahn in The Last Command, but also appeared in John Jackson Miller's Knight-Errant book and comics. A pirate attempts to order a few drinks from a bar in the build-up to a battle. One of them is a pod chaser, which was available to drink for real on the Halcyon and the Galactic Star Cruiser. And of course, there are several other mentions of planets like Randon, Garki, Chambel, and Dalinor that have appeared in prior stories, or aliens like the Yanchori, but those are all the major Easter eggs and references I noticed while reading The Living Force. If you want to check out the audiobook for yourself, you can right now by following the link in the description or by visiting audibletrial.com/Star Wars Explained. The Star Wars audiobooks are always great with sound effects and music, so they're like listening to a movie. This one is narrated by Mark Thompson, who always does fantastic voice work as well. If you sign up for a free 30-day trial, you'll get a credit for 1 free audiobook, or 2 if you're an Amazon Prime member, and you can use that credit to get The Living Force, or get just about any other Star Wars book, or get any audiobook you want. The point is, you get a free book, and you'll be supporting the channel when you do. But that's it for today. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on our socials, and consider checking out our Patreon page, where we'll be having a book club discussion of The Living Force later on in April. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.